Hello everyone, it's been a while since I uploaded to YouTube. I am going to get back to it. In fact, I just recorded some videos in Ashdod last week, but at the moment, we just got in the news a flash that the IDF is concerned Iran may attack again tonight. And I thought that there's never, for me, I'll never miss a chance to share uh, preparedness tips and advice. Not that I'm sort of an authority, but I guess I have put together a decent system over the course of these wars with Iran. And for anyone else trying to think what gear might be handy to have, this is stuff from the outside. It might be hard to appreciate that we've really lived through a kind of very protracted state of conflict with Iran. There was the 2 week war last summer. Then we had the very long 5 weeks that kind of wrapped up with the ceasefire. One day a breakout, but these have always felt like very fragile ceasefires. You don't really get a good sense for the news exactly what's going on, and it always seems to just break out just when you kind of think normal life is resuming. So for that reason, I've become kind of a go bag advocate. That reason and the fact that we have a 12-month-old son, so we don't have a shelter in our place like millions of people in Israel and Mamad. So think about this: if you get a warning at 3 in the morning, your phone goes off emergency alert. You've got 3 minutes to wake your kid up and get to shelter. And that shelter might be, you have to get in that 3 minutes. You also have to get down the elevator out to wherever the shelter is, the public shelter. So it's a very compressed time period. So for that reason, and having seen all the different things that kind of go wrong in shelters, that they don't have internet and you can't get emergency alerts in them, the all clear alert, I've kind of built out this kit. And it's been updated a bit since last summer. So I want to just talk about the fundamentals for those interested. Number one, a power bank. The priorities, I would say, in a country like Israel, as I see them for preparedness, are communication and staying online and contactable and situational awareness. So a decent chunky power bank is your best friend. And if there is a sense of stuff's about to break out, the first thing I'll do is make sure this gets on the charge and up to 100%. It's kind of the foundation. The next thing that I found invaluable in the last war is I put together this little book of checklists. It's called the Israel Wartime Readiness Field Guide, and it's 100% open source. You can download this PDF and print it. And I put this together as basically standard operating procedures or checklists, because when that war with Iran dragged on for 6 weeks, it took a cumulative toll. By the first, second, third day, you're just zombified. And then you're trying to get back to some degree of normal life, but you also need to know, am I good to go? And I found that very, very hard. So this became a real great little thing to have. And I just created some checklists like this with the help of AI, Claude, based on the Homefront command advice. Are you ready to go? And one as well that I found very useful was before bed, just to make sure, just run through a check like this. Is your phone charging or charged? Is your phone active? It's not on airplane mode. You can hear the emergency alerts. Are your clothes laid out by the bed, or maybe even on you? Is your footwear by the bed? Is it closed toe so you can actually run? All this kind of stuff. And all these were devised because of things that you naturally will just kind of become less diligent about. This thing is a cellular router. It's the Glynet X2000, and the reason I have this in my go bag is because there's kind of a bit of a, I would say, blind spot in the Israeli preparedness system in which we have these public shelters. To be a good public shelter for missile threats, you need to be deep underground. If you're deep underground, it's going to be very hard to get reception, and the reception is used to give you not only the get to shelter, but it's the all clear. There's been plenty of times where I was running to shelter and the alert is so short that you can hear explosions as you're going in. So a cellular, and by the way, I don't mean that dramatically. Sometimes explosions can be interceptions quite a while away, but you hear literally kinetic activity, put it like that, in the sky. This is a cellular router, the X2000. It's got 4G antennas, and if you're using a cellular router purely for receiving emergency alerts, you're prioritizing for getting any signal over getting fast signal. So 4G actually can do fairly well at just getting those very small bits of data. This has Ethernet, so if you happen to be in a shelter that has an Ethernet jack, some do in car parks, you can use that, and that means you can just get those alerts on your phone. You can tune into the news. Speaking of tuning into the news, this is a brilliant piece of gear. It's a clip-on Bluetooth microphone. And situational awareness, again, becomes very important if you're running to shelter or stuff is breaking out and you just kind of want to keep updated. You can put on the news or the radio. This sounds very old school, but I will literally tune into the national radio station because it's government news. Yes, it has its pros and its cons in peacetime, but in emergencies, when there's a lot of fake news, social media posts, being able to tune into the official news is kind of the number one thing I'd say. It can also double as a push to talk radio, like using Zello. So if you have your family on a Zello group, you can literally push to talk and clip this onto just about anything. It'll clip onto a backpack. So its versatility is its strength, basically, and that's why it's actually, I think, a very useful thing to have in a go bag. Finally, then, for lighting, a head torch. The reason a head torch is, I would say, top for this kind of urban dash to shelter situation. There's a list of official shelters throughout the city, but sometimes the alerts are very, very short and you have to find the best protected space that you can figure out on the fly. And that tends to be underground. You're going through literally the backs, the underbellies of restaurants, all sorts of weird environments. And this is on your head and it literally lights the path. Another very useful thing for parents in this situation is you've got a red light. This prevents blindness from torches, but it's actually useful if you're going to shelter a few times a night. Red light, it doesn't have blue light and it's a little bit less jarring. You'll be able to light up a decently sized room with this. And it's like if you need to get back to sleep to recover between these alerts, it's a bit less abrasive, put it like that. This is another product from Nightcore. It's a signal light. And if you're with a family and you're trying to find shelter, just an extra kind of nice to have. Someone can see where you are and where you're going. Emergency whistle, and here's another one that I found useful if you're trying to get out the door in an emergency. Worst case emergency, just don't lock your place. Your life's more important to get to safe shelter. But one preventative measure is having a key. So I just kept a spare key on a lanyard, so it always stays in this bag and it's always there. And this bag has been kind of packed more or less for the last year, give or take. Emergency whistle, 160 decibels, 100 and something decibels, and a little small first aid kit, medication, water, and some parenting essentials. We'll just leave it at that for the description there. So basically, the elements are and one more torch, a hand torch. So basically, optimizing for a reliable supply of power, charging it up between alerts and whenever you can. This for connectivity, a wireless router. You can get a smaller one than this, but this one gives you a bit more options. It still fits in a backpack. Something to tune into radio and government news that you can not have your ears occupied, so you can literally keep your surroundings. And likewise, a torch so that you can light up without holding a torch, because a lot of these alerts happened. Wars broke out multiple times at 3-4 in the morning. Emergency supply of 2 or 3 caffeine pills for the same reason. When the war broke out at, I think, 4 a.m. the first time. Last rounds were, I think, 5:30 in the morning. You wake up, you're totally out of it, groggy, and suddenly you've got to run for shelter. And you might have to run 4 times in the next few hours. So that's the reason I keep a couple of caffeine pills. It just literally bolts you alert when you have to be thinking and moving fast. Whistle, did I say that? And that's the kit.